You've got Scruffy and Jinyo, and thank you for joining us, whether for the first time or maybe you're already tired of us, as we continue our challenge of watching an episode of Star Trek a day, leading up to the 50th anniversary of the original series. This episode of this commentary is very exciting, as we are now on to what is air date episode 11, which is a two-parter called The Menagerie.
Starting now. Now, Menagerie was the 11th episode to air. Ooh, that's a beautiful matte painting.
That's going to be a new one versus the
two,
well, the one and then redone one we saw before. She's got a special patch thing.
Yep. The little spiral flower pin. But yeah, this is the 11th episode to air, but it was the 15th episode to be shot.
Good to see a Commodore. Her face there is just kind of all like, I don't know if she's dumbstruck or just like they stayed too long on her.
Yeah, it was kind of weird editing choice.
She's just staring at him.
Yeah.
Captain Pike.
Yep, this is where we see Captain Pike.
So excited.
Now, even though this episode was the 15th episode to be made...
You don't know? You actually don't.
Like, half of the footage is from the very first pilot that was shot for the series.
That started it all.
Yep. The pilot called The Cage, which never actually aired on television. Back in the 60s.
So we've got the Triumvirate here on emergency because Spock got a transmission from what is his first captain.
Yep.
Or last captain, I guess. And the Commodore is like, that makes no sense. Yeah, Commodore's like, that makes no sense. And Jim's like, why? He's like, let me show you.
Yep.
Because, dude, you don't even know, apparently.
Right.
But, like, Bones immediately knows what they're in for.
Yeah, he's like, Delta Rays, that does not sound good.
But he was a hero.
Now, interestingly, this is one of the episodes where the three beam down without a security detail.
Holy crap!
Oh.
That is pretty horrific. Jesus.
Yeah.
I also think it's a little interesting that wound is kind of similar to what we saw on Miri.
Yeah, that kind of blue and then surrounded by red.
Yeah, but oh dear God. Oh, Pike. It's so sad. In my head, like I've always just, I see that giant tank he's in, I just think it's this like super spacey wheelchair, but is it supposed to be implied that it's like a life support system keeping him alive?
Yeah, I think so. Because why else would he be in it, You don't need that much chair just to roll around and beep yes and no.
Oh.
Oh, Spock is going to remain.
What is he talking about? What is he talking about?
He's gonna pull a heist. He's got a plan.
I mean...
Now, after all these years, we've gotten used to Spock's deep bond with Captain Kirk. But here we see that he...
You say years, but I mean, if people were just watching the show for the first time...
I'm talking about us
then you've got,
after all these years.
But even first-timers 50 years ago, you'd seen 10 episodes where you're like, all right, like, Spock and Kirk are, like, dynamic duo going on.
Right.
This is awesome. But now you're like, this is something... Like, he's clearly planning something without telling his current captain. And that's
we see
so bizarre for Spock behavior.
Yes, it's unusual. Spock clearly has a type, and that type is Captain of the Enterprise.
He really
he just
digs
really bonds
Yes.
with the Captain of the Enterprise. I mean, I can't blame him.
No, you cannot.
It's pretty awesome to be Captain of the Enterprise, Steve.
But, I mean, he's planning something secret.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think that, this episode actually leaves out a lot of our regulars.
Yeah, because the focus is, well, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Focus is, it's obviously a Spock episode.
Yes.
With Kirk.
Well, Kirk is the leading man of the show,
Yes.
so. In fact, it was intended that he would basically be the central character of the show, but...
People love Spock so much.
Spock just really struck a nerve with the viewers.
So now, we've got
See, if
Kirk
Spock
having
says
to...
Spock says it, that's good enough for Kirk.
That's
Kirk
what I was
doesn't need any
saying.
evidence.
I'm saying, here you've got Kirk having to defend his first officer.
Mm-hmm.
And he will, because Spock isn't wrong. Spock doesn't lie.
Right.
Vulcans don't lie.
Yes. But more importantly, he trusts Spock.
I love how, like, they're both, like, angrily but professionally yelling at each other right then.
Yeah.
Like, they're both equally frustrated.
Right.
And then they cool off. Obviously, what's fun is that we're seeing, beyond the metal flower patch, also the Commodore rain braids, which are pretty aggressive.
Yep.
With that gold band.
Very true.
So Commodore says, okay, my people have checked it like
I
a
love the
bajillion times
computer
over.
readout with just like the sliding colors behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Not even lights.
Oh!
Someone's sneaking.
Commodore says, no, these things aren't happening. And Kirk is like, yes, these things are happening.
I love that dude did not see Spock just wander in there.
Well, Vulcans are cat-like on their feet.
Famous Spock neck pinch.
All of this is clearly Spock doing things he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And it's impossible at this point to think of what would bring him to do that.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, especially in season 1, it seems like any reputation Kirk has as a womanizer is more about his past, his backstory. Women meeting him and being like, oh yeah, I knew you, or oh, my roommate knew you.
And not actually how he is now.
Yeah, because he doesn't actually mac on that many women, especially in season 1.
Not so far.
That poor devil.
Did you see him?
You'd think with their futuristic technology...
I know.
He'd at least be able to have a wheelchair that says yes or no, and not just beep.
I mean, it's such a iconic character, Pike in that box, but when you think about everything that Star Trek is presenting, and the, dozen different made up things that have since been invented because people saw them in Star Trek, and then as they grew up were determined to make that reality.
Right.
That in Roddenberry's or the writer's mind, it was, in the future, you're fucked.
Yeah.
like medical technology gets worse.
Yeah, like he couldn't figure out one of those, Stephen Hawking devices. He's had that thing for 20 years to talk
But
through.
clearly this person saw an iron lung and thought, that's gonna be the future. Iron lungs are the future.
Yeah.
I always love the way she just...
Mm-hmm.
She's just so fabulous. Uh-oh. No, you don't.
Oh,
You're trying
man.
to, like, show him.
Yeah. He's using violence.
This is a pretty serious deal. Like,
It is an extremely serious... Oh, he's just hammering away
I
at
feel like
Spock's head.
Spock could be sent to prison for this.
Oh, definitely. Well, as we learn later, the penalty could be even stiffer.
It's got, like, tapes that are pre-programmed for the answer.
Mm-hmm.
The depth of, like, Starfleet violations that he's committing all in that moment are unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, he is basically committing Grand Theft Starship.
He just assaulted 2, like, Starfleet members, officers, whatever. Misled his captain, tampered with, like, materials.
Yeah. And if you think about it, there are a lot of parallels between this storyline and the events of this storyline and Star Trek 3.
Because what Kirk does?
Because what Kirk does for Spock is basically what Spock is doing for Pike.
Yeah, never really thought about that before. Shatner's just got this really intense, faraway stare of deep thought.
Yeah.
It's just so, like, you could look at these.
It's great. It's like, McCoy, I need to think about things now.
Just super serious. And I love him for it because it's so intense. Like, you're getting, like, I'm getting anxious and tense watching his body language because he is just, he's trying to understand that Quid, his first officer, and at this point, one of his best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the evidence is pointing to the fact that someone has tampered and lied.
Yeah.
With materials.
And that someone kind of has to be Spock.
He's the only one capable of it, and the only reason they're there is because Spock claims to have heard a message.
Yeah.
By someone who physically isn't capable of doing so.
Yeah. I love that Commodore Mendez has on his desk one of those flexible necked little viewer things that sort of is a throwback to the pilot.
But this is interesting, given all the fiery, energetic banter between McCoy and Spock, that entire exchange, you've got McCoy being the one defending Spock.
Yeah. He's the one who's like, there's no way he could have done it.
Like, this is not possible.
He's a Vulcan. Vulcans can't do stuff like
they
lie.
Can't lie. And,
right.
And I would go off hat cocked, but he wouldn't. Like, he doesn't even know what that means.
Right. So perhaps that's because, as we've seen in other episodes, McCoy is just like a raging racist where Vulcans are concerned. So he's like, only viewing
Did
Spock
you really have to ruin that moment by bringing, like,
He's
trying to see it that way?
only viewing Spock through all these Vulcan stereotypes.
No.
Only Fleet Command knows why.
Well, that was kind of fun.
Yeah, I like that. At the bottom, it's like Captain Christopher Pike, half Vulcan, Commander Spock.
Nah, that seems racist.
Yeah,
like, seems
seem
massively
racist.
unnecessary on an official document to
Right.
put that there. In case you didn't know.
Yeah. I feel
Without Captain Kirk.
Yeah, that's kind of serious.
I mean, I think that has to be the most painful betrayal. Like, I don't even know how Kirk could ever really, years later, even forgive Spock for that. Even knowing the
Stealing his
situation
ship.
as it will be revealed later,
Mhm.
that
He's stealing my freaking ship.
he just stole his baby.
Yeah.
His lover and his wife just took off with his ship
Yep.
and didn't tell him anything. And
Yeah.
obviously Spock's doing it to protect him, because if he had all had involved Kirk
That would mean
in
Kirk's
this,
ass.
Kirk would lose what matters most to him in life, which is being a Starfleet captain and having the Enterprise. So
Exactly.
Meanwhile, McCoy is going to be pissing
Right.
once he realizes he was wrong. I mean, Spock's kind of a super badass here, being all, like, spy mode.
Captain, Doctor, I would have
Love
left you
that.
on the planet, but I need you for one specific thing.
Hello.
He says no, he's not alright.
Yeah. A lot of times. No, 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 no. Does McCoy believe that?
Mm-hmm.
That is him.
About the size of a what? A starbase shuttlecraft?
We haven't seen one of those yet.
Yeah, we certainly haven't.
What could that possibly be? I guess now they exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the first episode in which we'll see shuttlecraft. The shuttlecraft
Will it be the it won't be the
actually
Galileo?
the shuttlecraft was actually made for the Galileo 7 episode,
Mm-hmm.
but that episode was made before this episode,
Mhm.
but this episode aired first. So
Mm.
that's why this is the first episode we're seeing the shuttlecraft, because it was built for that
Yay.
episode.
Seems pretty serious to bring a Commodore with you. He seems kind of important, and like he probably needs to stay
Don't you have a starbase
at
to
that
run?
at that starbase.
Uh-huh.
And if anywhere, I mean, they're in a shuttlecraft which cannot like survive long term
Right.
in space. That's already a concern. Where it's like, there's only so far you can go out before you have to turn back
Mm-hmm.
before you run out of whatever counts for fuel.
Right. Dilithium.
Yes, pretty serious.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty serious here. Well, I mean, dilithium crystals power the Enterprise. Those don't power shuttlecrafts.
Well, I mean, if you're running warp engine, even if it's a small one.
Do they?
I don't know.
I just assume they just have some type of space gas.
Antimatter?
Whatever counts as a gas.
Mm-hmm.
Fuel, anything.
Well, it's got to have a tailpipe.
They just can't go far.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Ion engine power.
Spock's like, shut up, I know what a shuttlecraft
Yes.
is. And he's also like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Forcing my
Kirk,
hand.
why do you have to chase after me?
Right.
Because that's his job. He has to know this is what Kirk would do.
I can't let one captain die just to save another captain.
What's
So,
he gonna do?
Spock is truly on the devilish horns of a dilemma. I love those bowling ball monitors. Like, what are you monitoring with that thing?
Nothing. It is a light. Were they getting like a tanning session on their face?
Yeah. That's exactly.
Why would they
what's
not
going
even
on.
like pretend to put a starfield there or something? No, you didn't. That needs to be on a shirt.
He has no argument for that.
I like this Commodore. He's smarmy, you know?
He's sassy.
He loves sassy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably gonna die, and he's all like, you know, like, I had to come.
Yeah.
He's dead if he makes it to Talos IV.
Right. It's the only death penalty left.
It's pretty freaking serious.
Yeah. Maybe he's just gone mad.
That's just your... Yeah.
Maybe it's space madness.
When in doubt, guy must be crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, what he's doing
you
is
can't
pretty...
fathom that loyalty would go that
What
deep.
he's doing is pretty crazy. Mm-hmm.
McCoy knows what's up.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna go at it.
Mm-hmm. Notice.
But not the Commodore?
Yes.
What?
Stand by to beam Captain Kirk on board.
Is it because they haven't scanned that there's 2 life forms on there, or what? Because it seems kind of serious.
We find out in part 2.
I like
What
Uhura's
that's all
response,
about.
being like, "Say what now? What's going on?"
Mm-hmm.
No,
snap!
it all comes out. Ugh. Everyone's shocked.
Thank God we don't have
Shocked.
to. We don't have to wait till to part 2 of this story to find out
Something
that he's
is
pulling
seriously
some
wrong.
kind of scheme.
But he's so
I don't know.
torn by this.
I love that he consults Spock as to how to arrest Spock.
I mean, given McCoy's personality and how he just loves to needle, Spock, like, whenever he gets a chance. I mean, here, he's, like, so uncomfortable, and you would think he would yell at him. Like, what were you thinking? Are you insane?
Yeah.
How could you do that? Like,
He's just so thrown
Are
off.
you out of your Vulcan mind? Like, none of that. It's just, he's really bothered by it, and just...
He's just so thrown
I
off by the whole
can't,
thing.
like, what is going on, and how to do this. So he said to Captain Kirk only, but then both of them are here.
Mm-hmm.
So much gold everywhere. Yeah.
I feel like Kirk's rank braids are sewn on really widely spaced this episode, more than usual.
Whoop.
Oh, snap.
Oh, Scotty is pissed.
Yeah.
He's like, what? What just happened to my ship?
This is part 2 of Spock's
Because
Gambit.
really, the Enterprise has 2 husbands, and one is Kirk and one is Scotty.
Yeah, that's true.
Nope.
Spock's like that villain who's like, yeah, I told you my evil plan, but not so soon that you could stop it.
Interesting that the security camera would know at that moment the situation was so serious it needed to pan out so we could see the Commodore.
Oh yeah, smart cameras.
Very sophisticated smart cameras.
Yeah. We are...
Oh, that's heartbreaking!
I know. It's the most painful moment ever for him. We are headed... Interestingly, the table that Spock is sitting at doesn't have the gray edge, but the other two tables do.
No. Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh.
The Commodore.
And Captain Christopher Pike.
Oh, he is mad. I mean, he has every reason to be mad.
But that was just as a courtesy.
That just seems... I mean, it's weird, you know? You're this giant organization. And just, like, what happened is so messed up. You're like, we all know he's not doing anything. Well, let's just, like, keep him active.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, I love these uniforms. It's the first time we're seeing these uniforms, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
first time we're seeing the dress uniforms.
I've seen the dress uniforms before.
Which, yeah, I'm obsessed with.
Now,
especially the blue.
Scotty does not have a dress uniform. I wonder if that was a budgetary concern.
Could be.
Because he does show up in one later.
Mm-hmm. Just love the balance here. You know, obviously normal. Spock looks stoic and serious and calm. You've got the Commodore who's reasonably pissed.
Yeah.
And wants to know what is going on. But Kirk's like body language in this is, you know, he's leaning back and it's very like tightly controlled because he's very uncomfortable with the situation. Everything about it sucks. He is obviously not going to be an aggressor towards Spock. I mean,
Kirk reads more as just like hurt by this whole situation.
Ooh, how was there a camera in space that did the things?
Computers.
And then you just like have a little satellite camera following your ship from the outside, and it's just like taking pictures.
And now we enter the footage.
It's Captain Pike. And then you're like,
first pilot.
You're like, dude, your face. You're like, since you didn't have like before to compare it against, and so you're like, that's what you're supposed to look like?
Yeah.
Oh, dear God, man. No wonder they did keep you on the active list because they felt so bad.
Yeah. He's lost a lot.
A little bit. And obviously what's fun, I guess that's a word I can use for this reference, is that the guy playing messed up Captain Pike. It's not the same actor.
Right.
Because you didn't need the same actor because with all of that stuff on your face and the hair change.
Right.
You didn't, I mean, except for the blue eyes, you did not need it to be the same guy. You just needed to have blue eyes and that was it.
Well, Sean Kenny, I believe is his name. That's the actor who is playing fucked up Pike. Yes. And he was chosen because he had kind of resemblance to Jeffrey Hunter, who played the original Pike. Which, once you just slap a little messed up scars on him, he's all good to go. Kind of covers it. Apparently, I mean, the official story is that Hunter was in Spain shooting a movie, and therefore unavailable. But there are also some who say he wouldn't have been affordable anyway.
Yeah. And now, like, we're thrust 13 years in the past! Which is footage from the very first episode of Star Trek that started
the very first pilot.
Yeah, called The Cage.
Yes.
And I just think it's so fun because, I mean, I'd say it's not common that audiences will see a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pilots are
Look
often...
how small the insignias were.
Yeah, pilots are often shown just in the network and then redone.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, most of what happens in that pilot is cleaned up, refined, and used in the first official episode.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Look how bushy his eyebrows
But here we have an instance where they took that pilot footage and used it, incorporated it into a story within the existing series.
Yep.
And I love it for that because it makes it like official. Because like, oh, just, you know, it's great when pilots are included in you know, DVD extras or whatever. But if it's not something that like officially aired, it's always a little bit like not quite.
Not quite canon.
Yeah, but like this cements all of this into the canon so beautifully.
Yes.
Captain Pike, you've got Major Roddenberry as number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Who is amazing.
Yeah, she looks great as number 1.
Yeah.
And she really owns that role.
Yeah. I'm always a little sad. And we got people in the normal clothes.
Yeah.
Which seems realistic because, I mean, you're going to be off duty sometimes on the Enterprise.
Right.
You would have clothes other than your uniform to be wearing. Here's a precursor to the communicator we all know and love.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, he's so angsty. Look at that. Oh, boo. He's so upset.
I love the relationship that Pike has with his doctor.
Oh, yes. Obviously, we got precursor to Bones here, which is always going to be your doctor's like your bartender.
Yep.
God, he's hot.
He says
Dear
very much the
God.
same thing.
I mean, Jeffrey Hunter was Jeffrey Hunter was hella good looking.
Yep,
Like,
he's a very good looking guy.
Like, I mean, it doesn't require any thought as to why he was the original guy cast for what would be Kirk.
Right. But you can also see the way he played his role.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more serious and not as energetic as Kirk.
Yeah, which Nimoy goes into all the time, even from the beginning, which obviously thought Jeffrey Hunter was a fine actor and loved working with him, but Star Trek would not be the Star Trek we know and love so much to this day, I think, if Nimoy had not had Shatner to play off of, because there's something very unique about the combo of those two actors because they are on complete opposites of how you approach acting. And for Spock to have become the Spock that has like changed so many people's lives, he would not have existed if Jeffrey Hunter had stayed in the role.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was an actor too much like Nimoy, where they're a lot more quiet and reflective and introspective, and you know, it's just great quote I'm going to totally butcher that Nimoy mentions, where it's basically like, you know, one actor saying to another, like, you know, hey, like, you know, they're doing a scene together. What are you going to play? And the first actor says, I'm going to play nothing. And then the other actor is like, no, I'm going to play nothing. And it's like, you can only have one actor, you know, basically play quiet or play silent. Like, you can't have two loud actors in one scene. You can't have two quiet actors in one scene. Like, it just won't go anywhere. You need to have that nice little yin and yang balance.
Mm-hmm.
So once Shatner ended up being cast as the captain, there was that perfect balance of like excitable physical actor.
Here Captain Pike talks about how he has an alternative career choice, which is a slave trader in Orion women.
Which is not okay.
It's like, oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Doesn't seem appropriate.
Yeah, and you think McCoy is racist. Me here, you've got Captain Pike who's like, I want to go be a slave trader. That seems awesome.
But yeah, Pike is very much more introspective and serious captain. And then once we get to know number 1, she's also, like, cold and emotionless.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't have Spock also be, the walking computer. It's just gonna be, like, it's just gonna imbalance the scales too much in one direction.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was obsessed with how much women were involved in this pilot. The fact that you have the second in command is a woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's wearing pants. She's this, cool calculating character. I love it so much, and I'm just always sad that role was lost when they kind of, tweaked things before it became the series we all know.
Yeah.
Because we lost a female in that level of authority completely.
Yeah.
You've got Uhura, who's in communications, which, is a rather stereotypical female role, being basically a phone. She's well beyond being a simple, like, phone operator, but that's kind of, like, the level she's at in rank, even though she's, like, a genius, because obviously she'd have to, like, know all these different languages and everything. But, you've got Yeoman Rand, who's basically a personal assistant. You got Nurse Chapel, who's a nurse. Like, those are all very, very 60s stereotypical roles, if you were to, like, break them down at their most basic.
Mm-hmm.
And I love all those. I love all those women. Female characters are amazing, but we lost a second in command female officer.
Yeah.
To get the 3 of those, and it always kind of bums me out. But you would not have Spock if that had not happened, because, like you said, the behaviors that Captain Pike exhibits and the behaviors that number 1 exhibit both are key essences to the character of Spock.
Right. And if we'd had both of those characters the way they are in the pilot,
Spock just would not be Spock.
Yeah, Spock would have had to have gone in a slightly different direction, which we kind of get hints of here.
There's so much what if, if they had kept the setup that was introduced in the pilot.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what the series would have gone.
Yeah. I mean, namely, very unfortunately, is the fact...
I love McCoy's dress uniform, because it's basically the same, but it doesn't have the gold around the collar and down, and it's just got a really nice, clean look. I almost like his better
than all the little, like, triangle awards or whatever that are...
Mostly I like the lack of the gold collar.
Trim on top.
And, the trim down the front.
I mean, you can't know if Star Trek would have just, like, died after the first season and just been another 60s hokey show or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or not, but you do, I think, kind of have to imagine that is exactly what would have happened, given the fact that, unfortunately, Jeffrey Hunter would die just a few years later.
Yeah. And look how much more monochromatic the bridge is.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and like silver
and the crew,
gray.
obviously, because they're in the uniforms. We've only seen, like, maybe twice before in the episodes, which is just
You've got
gold, tan, and blue. So
Right.
you have two basically of the same color. So much gray. I'm depressed.
Mm-hmm. But you still got the sparkly fabrics. Look at those jackets.
It's space.
Those are kind of fabulous.
Do I need to remind you it's space?
Do I need to remind you
'Cause
it's the
space.
60s?
Because space. Those are, like, the most shapeless jackets I've ever seen,
Oh,
and
they are.
but I love them.
And those little snake neck monitors are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why did they get rid of them? Do they really need to get rid of them? Also, the top of the transporter is really close to the top of their head.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't be a 7-foot tall guy.
Nope.
You know.
Man, that took a long time to fade in.
Yeah.
Jeez, like, they're not gonna make it. Yeah, those jackets are insane. Oh, he's so pretty. But, like, Spock's hair isn't even, like, what we've all come to know and love, because it's not quite a nice, clean, sharp bowl cut. Also, was Nimoy injured? Because he's, like, limping like crazy. I don't recall him ever... I don't think I've ever read, like, an interview or a book where...
He talks about
being
injured. Yeah.
I mean, clearly, like, a twist an ankle or something.
Maybe it was a character choice.
Oh, God, I love these leaves so much.
Well, not as much as Spock loves them.
Yeah. Don't smile! Don't do it! No!
I think he's had the biggest smile of any character yet in this episode. In the cage part.
Like, it's weird when Spock is the most animated character.
The most smiley guy.
It's not okay.
We want you to play this alien. He has no emotions, but he smiles all the time.
Interested in, like, the Band-Aid this guy has on his neck?
Mm-hmm.
Something about it actually is wonderfully realistic.
Yeah,
you know?
He's got, like,
guys
a
limping,
rich backstory.
guys injured, but I'm like, okay, like, was the actual actor injured? They just didn't care that it was on set? Or did they actually make a choice to have this guy have a bandaged neck?
Yeah, I gotta wonder. United Spaceship Enterprise.
Mm-hmm. Has a lot of old dudes. A lot.
Well, they've been there for a while.
A lot of old dudes.
The time barrier's been broken.
I'll just stop mid-sentence because Lady...
Hello.
Lady, who is rocking a net skirt.
Yeah.
She has amazing blue eyes.
We don't have pants for you, so we'll just give you string.
Yeah. Also, the way I introduce her is her parents are dead. Just to throw it out there. Parents are dead. In case you're wondering why she looks like as young as she does, she was born right when we crashed and her parents died.
Yeah.
The end. Oh. Look at them getting along. Someone's watching.
I love how the subtlety of the
veins throbbing in the head.
These dudes have some serious roid brains.
This is some amazing, stranded fashion going on. The entire time, she hadn't even spoken yet. It was just, like, this really intense eye contact between them.
Yeah.
It's just an intense blue eye on blue eye stare.
Mm-hmm. Now, in the future, I don't know why you need an antenna on your thermos, but apparently, even thermoses have
awesome.
Wi-Fi.
Almost
too good. The girl.
Yeah, she's like, seriously. A little creeped out right now because some shady stuff is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, what is she wearing? It looks like net bags on her feet.
She's wearing her skirt on her feet. No, it's cool. Just come with me.
Yeah. This seems safe. Separate the captain from everyone else. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, what does he have to fear? She's only the girl. No, you go first.
He's like, are you crazy? You're hot, but you're crazy.
Yeah.
All of that is creepy. All of that is super creepy.
What happened?
Okay, so she just disappeared.
What happened?
There,
Oh,
all
what
just
happened?
disappeared.
Oh. What was that?
I don't know, but these little dudes are awesome.
Wasn't it Expelliarmus? What was it?
One guy's doing his job. Oh. I love how they have, like, that skill, and then obviously all the stuff that they can do with their minds, as we discover, but they have to, like, physically drag him into the elevator.
Yeah.
Woo!
Like, apparently their little magic wands don't work with Accio.
I love those phasers. I mean, I love the phaser redesign that we get, because it's a beautiful design, but I do love these instantly retro-futuristic.
Look how long his barrel is.
Because you can change the length, which is amazing.
You can move that little ring and slide it back and forth.
Yeah. They're all individually handcrafted.
Oh, I see. That's what it is. Band-Aid dude just handcrafted his longer.
Yeah. I also love that somehow this just random blonde dude is doing most of the work.
Yeah.
He's the one that noticed the captain was in danger. He's the one blasting the wall.
Yep. Spock looks over at him blasting the wall, and he's like,
I'll stop.
I don't need to also be blasting the wall.
I just love these young adventures of Spock, because I can believe, back then, I didn't know what I was doing. My hair was just, I was wild.
Yeah, look how perfect his hair is now.
Yes.
It's kind of shocking how perfect his hair is now.
Beautiful.
Uh-oh.
Clean up his eyebrows.
Now we're getting radio waves from Talos IV, which we shouldn't be doing.
Possible?
What? We thought you had these recorded. But we're watching Talos Vision. Oh,
it's pretty freaking serious.
Yep.
Aww.
Oh.
And now we've got Spock alarmed and showing emotion, as only a Vulcan can.
Why didn't you stay on the starbase?
It's I spent all this time doing all this elaborate work to make sure that he would not be.
I abandoned you for a reason, Kirk.
Oh, he just said no.
Mm-hmm. See, McCoy?
Yeah, I know. It's nice and...
It's clean.
Yeah, clean and simple. Because he just has the thin gold piping.
Right.
I mean, Kirk's got everything going on. He's got the, shoulder seam piping, and then he's
almost too elaborate for such a somber occasion.
God, he's so mad.
Spock, are you out of your fucking
mind? He said Jim. Always means it's super serious.
I know. He's staring at him like he's trying to see. He's trying to find the Spock that he knows.
He's just trying to understand him. Because, you're actually asking me to trust you after everything you've just done.
Yeah.
And what this means, to you and to me. What's going to happen to both of us. And...
Yeah.
Aww. I'm so sad.
I mean, it's a really... Oh, see? That table has the gray trim in it. This episode is a really...
What a way to end!
Yeah, I know. It's a heartbreaking episode. It's just, heartbreaking for Kirk. Because...
I can't even imagine having to wait, a week to see what happened next. Kirk is just so... He doesn't even know what to do with himself.
Yeah. That was really good.
Betrayed by his first officer in the most, just upsetting ways.
Yeah.
Sign himself up for the death penalty. Kirk is going to lose his command everything. I mean, does that mean he's also susceptible to getting the death penalty?
Yes,
I mean, it's serious
because he's responsible for everything that goes on the ship as captain. It's really harsh.
Can't stop thinking about Captain Pike as he just like lounges like a model on his bed.
Yeah.
It's like I was like, I'm upset. Time to model lounge.
That's how he lies down.
Yes.
That's how he relaxes.
It's fabulous.
Well.
I love how it establishes, you know, already you're like 11 episodes in and you've learned who was the captain of the Enterprise before Kirk. Like, it just adds so much of a layered history to this ship called the Enterprise and its crew to know this, you know, is not Kirk and Spock instantly together. Like, Spock has a past that is before Kirk and everything.
It really adds to the richness of the backstory. All right, so that was Menagerie Part 1.
Full of angst.
We'd love to leap right into Menagerie Part 2, but that's not how they watched it back in the 60s. That was a separate episode for a separate day. So be sure to join us again when we watch the Menagerie Part 2.
I'm so sad.